I'm not sure if I'm audible or not. I think we are getting some technical feedback, but we'll begin the webinar. So just wanted to check with you, Bob. Can you hear me correctly, or is it just me who is getting the feedback? You can hear me correctly. Perfect. Thank you. So I'll just give some a brief introduction of all our guests. So we have Robert Bob Lancia, who is joining us from Rhode Island in United States of America. He's a former U.S. United States Navy chaplain. He's also a member. He used to be a member of the Rhode Island House of Representatives. He's presently an academic and has a very deep understanding on Bangladesh and the entire region. We also we have Stephen Michaud. He's joining us from Paris. He's an expert in international money laundering, works very closely with the World Bank, and expert in counterterrorism when it comes to financial fraud. And he also has his own perspective on the International Mother Language Day and, of course, his observations on Bangladesh. So without any further ado, I would probably invite Bob to give his opening remarks, and then we'll go to Stefan, who has sent his recorded message, which I'm going to play, and then we will go back to Mike. So, Bob, do you want to give your opening remarks, please? Thank you.
Good morning. I really honored to be a part of this presentation today. And thank you for sending me your article today on the International Mother Language Day. It really provided some great perspective. For me personally, I understand and I did not know that February 21st was that Bengali language movement began in 1952, and UNESCO proclaimed it, again, International Mother Language Day. I think that was so important because of the history that you wrote about in your article you sent me. And I think we would agree, and I think your article touches on this, the importance of preserving and promoting mother languages and highlighting the fact, you did too, that over 40% of languages are in risk of falling out of use. That's amazing to me. And also cultural identity. You talked about that. It's so deeply tied to cultural identity. And you can explore how mother languages contribute to the rich tapestry of cultures worldwide. And, a lot of these repressive regimes, what's the first thing they do? Try to, tamp down people's cultural identity and using the language. Also, I think an important thing we could talk about is how language and culture can lead to a discussion on language education. And you'd be curious to hear what people might have to say about innovative approaches to teaching and preserving mother languages. So important. Here in America, when the missionaries first went to Hawaii to, proselytize, but then the sons of the missionaries said, hey, we can make a lot of money. And they got the United States government to literally take over Hawaii. And the people lost their culture and they lost their language. And it was, I think, a professor from Minnesota who had to teach the Hawaiian people their own language again. We do not want that to be the case. And so that's why what you're doing is so, so important today. So I really appreciate the opportunity to be here today and take part in this session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bob. Yeah, so I wrote a piece in the Economic Times today, which has been shared globally, and I'm very honored that you gave me this opportunity. So just to give some context, the International Language Day by UNESCO was declared in the year 2000, so it's the 25th year. And going back to the history, it dates back to 1952 when the subcontinent was divided. It was East Pakistan, and the West Pakistani regime wanted to impose Urdu as the main language or the state language. And the Bengali people, irrespective, and this I make a very fundamental point in my article, that irrespective of their religion, caste, creed, color, whatever you wish to call them, and divide them, and they failed, and students of Dhaka University were protesting just like, without arms, peaceful demonstration, and then the law enforcement agencies opened fire. A lot of students died innocently, and that actually set fire to the entire region. And the administration had to bow down and recognize Bengali as one of the state languages of Pakistan. So it is also mentioned in the UN website that it's the first instance in history where a cultural identity, like the Bengali people, they've fought against the imperialism of language. So it is quite remarkable, and I think we should mark this and always never forget and keep on the lineage. So um, I'm going to now go to Stefan, and then we will. He's got some short messages, so I'm going to ask the technician to play them, and then I will come back to you, Bob, and we can discuss a little bit about Bangladesh before we close this. Thank you.
International Mother Language Day. Thank you, Priyanjit Devsakar, and thank you, Bob Lancian, to be here. And in order to International Mother Language Day. Thank you, Priyanjit Devsakar, and thank you, Bob Lancian, to be here. And in order to develop this very important topic, and for other people who are listening, ladies and gentlemen. International Mother Language Day. Thank you, Priyanjit Devsakar, and thank you, Bob Lancian, to be here and in order to develop this very important topic. And for other people who are listening, ladies and gentlemen, it's both an honor and a profound responsibility to speak on International Mother Language Day, a commemoration that finds its origin in the heart of Bangladesh history. This day serves not only as a tribute to the linguistic diversity and cultural richness across the globe, but also as a reminder of the struggle for language preservation and rights. International Mother Language Day, observed globally on February 21st, serves as a potent symbol of unity and resistance to oppression originating from a significant historical event in Bangladesh, and expanding its influence to address a universal issue affecting nations worldwide. Today, as we gather to observe International Mother Language Day, we not only celebrate linguistic diversity and cultural heritage, but also reflect on the darker chapters of history where linguistic and cultural identities have faced severe threats from radical extremes. This commemoration, rooted in the heart of Bangladesh story, serves as a poignant reminder of the resilience of the human spirit against attempts to suppress cultural and linguistic identity. On February 21, 1952, students in Dhaka, then part of East Pakistan, protested against the imposition of Urdu as the sole national language, which marginalized their mother tongue Bengali. The response to their peaceful protest was brutal. Many were killed by police gunfire. This tragedy marked the beginning of a wider struggle for linguistic and cultural identity, which ultimately contributed to the fight for Bangladesh's independence in 1971. Bangladesh, since its independence, has shown an immense commitment to the preservation and promotion of its linguistic heritage. Schools across the nation teach Bengali, ensuring that the language thrives in literature, music, and daily communication. Moreover, the country has taken significant steps to recognize and promote the languages of various ethnic minorities, ensuring the linguistic diversity of the nation is celebrated and preserved. However, the significance of this day transcends national borders, emphasizing the importance of linguistic diversity worldwide. Languages are not merely tools for communication, they are vessels of our history, culture, and identity. Each language lost to extinction silences a unique part of human heritage. Therefore, the protection of linguistic diversity is intertwined with the protection of human rights. Today, as a reflect of the legacy of the language movement, we must also look forward to the challenges that lie ahead. In an increasingly globalized world, the pressure on smaller languages grows ever more intense, with dominant languages overshadowing the lesser spoken ones. It is our collective responsibility to ensure that no language feels compelled to silence itself, that every tongue finds its voice in the core of global discourse. However, the journey did not end with independence. The people of Bangladesh faced further trials, but notably during the 1971 genocide, where radical military extremists sought not only to suppress but to eradicate the Bengali culture and language. The genocide led to the loss of millions of lives, making it one of the most tragic episodes of human history. It was an extreme manifestation of cultural and linguistic imperialism. Recognizing the profound impact of these events, UNESCO declared February 21 as International Mother Language Day in 1999. This day now stands as a global symbol against cultural linguistic oppression, promoting the preservation of all languages used by people of the world as a human rights priority. In Bangladesh, efforts to preserve and promote Bengali as well as other indigenous languages reflect a commitment to ensuring that such atrocities do not repeat. The country has embraced its linguistic diversity, incorporating it into educational system and media, thus ensuring that future generations carry forward their rich heritage. The significance of this day, however, extends beyond Bangladesh. It resonates globally wherever radical extremism threatens the fabric of society. It reminds us of the need for vigilance and resistance against forces that seek to divide us by erasing cultural identities. Every language extinct by such extremism is a loss of a unique worldview and an irreplaceable cultural narrative. Today, we must use the memory of past struggles as a beacon to guide our efforts in protecting linguistic diversity worldwide. We must stand against radical ideologies that threaten cultural and linguistic minorities, advocating for policies that foster inclusivity and diversity. As we commemorate this day, let us renew our commitment to promoting and protecting linguistic diversity as an integral part of human rights. Let the legacy of Bangladesh language movement and the trials it overcame inspire us to afford the sanctity of all languages and cultures against the shadows of extremism. A universal symbol for all nations, the recognition of this day by UNESCO as International Mother Language Day extended significance far beyond Bangladesh. Promoting inclusivity and education, International Mother Language Day also promote the idea that languages are not merely tools for communication, but are crucial for people's histories, culture, and identity. In an educational context, teaching in one's mother tongue is shown to improve learning and increase student retention. Thus, this day advocates for mother tongue instruction as an essential part of educational rights. Resistance against cultural homogenization in a broader sense. This day symbolizes resistance against any form of cultural homogenization, which threatens the unique fabric of multicultural societies. It is a call to appreciate and embrace cultural diversity, which can help build bridges of understanding among different communities worldwide. Thus, International Mother Language Day serves as a symbol of unity within Bangladesh against past oppression and a beacon for all nations in the fight to preserve cultural and linguistic diversity of the global community. Commemoration International Mother Language Day has significant implications for human rights in Bangladesh. The impact both national consciousness and policies related to the language and cultural rights. Here are some key impacts. Promoting of linguistic rights. The day underscores the importance of linguistic rights as a human rights. In Bangladesh, it has already forced to ensure that Bengali as a national language is preserved and promoted across all domains of public life. It also emphasizes the need to protect minority languages within the country, which is crucial for maintaining cultural diversity and promoting social cohesion. Educational and language policy. The commemoration has influenced educational policies, encouraging the use of the mother tongue in the educational system. This is based on the understanding that education in one's primary language can significantly enhance learning and comprehension, improving overall educational outcomes and reducing dropout rates. Such policies help ensure equitable access to education, a fundamental human right. Cultural identity and pride. International Mother Language Day fosters a sense of pride and identity among Bangladeshis. It serves as a reminder of their struggle for independence and the value of their cultural and linguistic heritage. This strengthening of national identity is crucial for social unity and is a core aspect of the cultural rights protected under international human rights law. Awareness and solidarity. The day raises awareness among the Bangladeshi population about the importance of cultural and linguistic diversity. This awareness fosters solidarity and understanding across different linguistic and cultural groups, promoting a more inclusive society. Global advocacy for linguistic diversity. By marking this day, Bangladesh positions itself as a global advocate for linguistic diversity and protection of endangered languages worldwide. This advocacy not only highlights Bangladesh's commitment to cultural rights, but also aligns with global efforts to protect and promote diversity as part of sustainable development goals. Legal frameworks. Commemorating this day has also led to the strengthening of the legal frameworks that protect linguistic rights. It reinforces the responsibilities of the government to afford the right to freedom of expression and cultural participation as enshrined in the international convention like the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, ICCPR. Counteracting extremism. By promoting the respect for linguistic and cultural diversity, International Mother Language Day acts as a counterbalance to radical ideologies that seek homogenization. This is particularly relevant in a diverse society like Bangladesh, where linguistic and cultural recognition can play a role in mitigating conflicts and extremism. In summary, International Mother Language Day has a multifaceted impact on human rights in Bangladesh, enhancing the promotion, the protection of linguistic and cultural rights, influencing educational policies, and fostering a more inclusive and aware society. These effects contribute to the broader human rights agenda by promoting diversity, education, and unity. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Stephen. I'm sure we would have loved to have in person, but he had a last minute emergency, so he could not join us. But I'm sure in the future we'll get something. So, Bob, I think you had a good overview now from both myself and Stephen. So I would like to present the floor to you. And because since he's not here, we'll not have a second round. So after your speech, I think we will draw this to a close if we have no questions from the audience. The floor is yours, Bob. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you. You know, I'm a former Navy chaplain, as you mentioned, and I've had the privilege of serving along individuals from diverse backgrounds and languages. And today on International Mother Language Day, we are gathering to celebrate the rich heritage of Bangladesh and the importance of preserving our mother languages. And, you know, as you know, language is more than just a means of communication. It's a bridge that connects us to our history, our traditions, and our identity. And as we honor the sacrifices of those who fought to preserve the Bengali language, let us also recognize the importance of linguistic diversity in our increasingly interconnected world, which our last speaker talked about. And, you know, I'm honored to be part of this celebration. And I really understand, and I'm understanding more the power of language and culture and the ability not to divide us, but to bring us together. And I think that's so important. And the words of our last speaker, talked in broad terms about that. But, you also mentioned I was a former state representative. And, we have Rhode Island is the smallest state in the United States, but I think it's one of the most beautiful. And I would live on one side of the state. You have to cross the Newport Bridge to get to Newport, which is where the Navy base is, where I would served, and the beautiful drive over that bridge. But and Narragansett Bay, which is just teeming with with sea life and everything. And I couldn't help but think about the journey that brought me to here with you today. And for my days as a Navy chaplain and serving along sailors and Marines and service members from all over the world. I was part of a NATO operation, Bosnia-Herzegovina, and served down in the Caribbean and Europe. It was really an education for me to meet members of diverse communities from around the world, to learn from them, to learn about their traditions, and to learn more about their language. And as a former state representative, I had the privilege of serving my community, advocating for the values of justice, compassion, and equality that had guided me throughout my career. And I know they're under attack today in Bangladesh. And as I reflected on International Mother Day, I thought about the many languages and cultures that enrich our world. And I remembered the sailors that I met, and, I didn't have the opportunity to meet any from Bangladesh in that part of the world. Wish I had. But, those stories and those traditions, they just make us who we are and just enrich our lives. But, my thoughts also turn to the people of Bangladesh, again, who are facing, I think, unprecedented challenges today. And, we're celebrating or, remembering, the devastation back in 1971. But look what's happening now here today. I mean, you're looking at it, you're documenting it. And so today becomes even more important. The recent unrest and violence targeting minority communities, including Hindus, are a stark reminder of the importance of celebrating our diversity and promoting inclusivity. In the face of such adversity, International Mother Language Day takes on a deeper significance than ever. It's a testament to the power of language and the culture to bring us together, to transcend our differences, and to promote understanding and empathy. And as we honor the sacrifices of those who fought to preserve the Bengali language, let us also stand in solidarity with the people of Bangladesh and with all those who are struggling for justice, equality, and human rights. And I also think we need to celebrate our diversity, promote inclusivity, and reaffirm our commitment to the values that unite us, not divide us. And the current situation in Bangladesh, I think, also requires a thoughtful and multifaceted approach from we here in the United States. And as a global leader, the U.S. can play a significant role in promoting stability, human rights, and democratic values in Bangladesh. And, the new president, recently reelected president, Donald Trump, I got to be honest, I'm still trying to figure this man out. I don't know what he's going to be doing, but this first month has been, very interesting. Some of it good, some of it, in my mind, not so good. And, so what can be done? Well, I believe first the U.S. can leverage its diplomatic influence to encourage dialogue between the government and opposition parties, fostering a more inclusive and representative political process. This could involve supporting initiatives that promote democratic governance, the rule of law, and human rights, something that we talked about, you and I have talked about, that's under attack right now. Secondly, I believe the U.S. can work with international organizations such as the United Nations to provide humanitarian assistance and to support vulnerable populations in Bangladesh, including minority groups facing extreme persecution. And regarding President Donald Trump's commitment, I think it's essential for him to prioritize the following. Number one, supporting democratic values. The U.S. should emphasize the importance of free and fair elections, a free press, and the protection of human rights in Bangladesh. I also believe he needs to continue to promote economic development. The U.S. can promote and encourage American businesses to invest in Bangladesh, supporting economic growth and development that benefits all segments of society. And then also, and I think most importantly, he needs to address the humanitarian concerns. President Trump should ensure that the U.S. provides adequate humanitarian assistance to address the needs of vulnerable populations in Bangladesh, including refugees and minority groups. And I believe that if we take a proactive and principled approach, the U.S. can promote stability, human rights, and democratic values in Bangladesh, while also addressing those pressing humanitarian concerns. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bob. You have eloquently put it. And of course, the points you make are quite fundamental. And I'm sure, and we hope and pray that that turns out to be the case, and changes which on the ground actually reflect to those who are at the receiving end, because the situation, unfortunately, is a quite it is quite volatile, and it is on a slippery slope. So once again, thank you very much, Bob, for joining this webinar quite early on a weekend morning.
Always, my friend. Always enjoy it.
Thank you.
Enjoy being with you.
We will try to do something next month as well, because in the month of March, Bangladesh will celebrate their independence. So we will probably carry on this tradition, and I will keep you informed. So I don't think there is any question. So if there is none, we will draw this to a close as of today, remembering the martyrs and the ideology of the International Mother Language Day, what it stood for, what inspiration we can get today, and how we can implement it to better our future. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, my dear friend. You have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All the very best. Thank you, Bob.
Yes. Bye-bye.